Like a stone on a riverbed, they are sleeping like a still day, only occasionally allowing some ripples to nudge them. They're sleeping on the road, man. They cling to comfort as long as they can. Probably all night they heard the small kingdoms breathing around them, the insects and those birds who do their business in the darkness, and the sonification of galaxies. The mother has to slaughter her finest impulses to bring food for these four every day. Today did she promise leftover bread and spoon tip of butter? Not good for them, but delicious nevertheless. So when light has blended to the diurnal rhythm, these two siblings created a sanctuary of shared dreams, doubts, and desires. Perhaps they found pieces of self in the other that they never thought someone else could recognize. Grandma, how do you recognize when someone's spirit resonates with yours? A placid one asked once, when you want to share a spoiled bone together, she said. And if there's some stale rice to go with? Grandma taciturnly kept her thoughts unfinished. But there's someone who doesn't accept any age-old answer. The stubborn soul. Between these two siblings, there's no need for physical touch because the bond itself is an embrace. A quiet, unspoken merging that wraps you in the comfort of being truly understood and the courage to be unapologetically yourself.
Yes, you can. Come on. Come on, you can. He has to learn. If you are not going to be around to help. Yes, you can. Come on.
He still tries to climb to mirror the warmth of other two siblings. Or maybe he just wants to show that he can conquer the summit too. I try to be encouraging to the enthusiastic while photographing the dozy duo while I wait. I stopped my car as this duo practically blocked the edge of the road. What if these pups come under a car in this deserted village road where vehicles tend to overspeed? But how long can I wait to stop such accidents? A severe cyclonic storm is about to lash Andaman Islands. They are calling it Ashani or Oshoni, meaning wrath in Sinhala language. Somewhere I read there are 169 names that can be used for the nomenclature of cyclones. The names are picked sequentially in such a way that countries, one after the other, get to decide names. India allots names for cyclones developing over the North Indian Ocean, including the Bay of Bengal and the Arabian Sea. But this time around, it was Sri Lanka's peak, and hence, Cyclone Ashani came to be known as such. Let me wait, hopefully I will get to see one of the parents. I mumble to myself. Shall I try to alert some animal shelter? No, it won't be right to displace them from their own territory. It will be heartbreaking for the mother once she is back. So sit down, puny human, and watch quietly the intelligence of nature. I ruminated. Just like the flowers grow through rock without our interference, this will also work out without my involvement. But in a quantum universe, they say that there are no such things as accidents. Events are not merely random or coincidental, but are shaped by our individual perceptions, folded into existence through the lens of our observation. So perhaps this meeting wasn't a mere accident either. I was traveling and I got somewhere to go. He seems busy too, the only restless one when others are trying to nap. The driver already furtively glanced at me a couple of times with, "What's your plan?" look. I can't tell him that I don't have any. Perhaps swept by the windy swell, I am as lost as them. A villager eventually arrives at this spot looking for these pups. He informs me that the mother ate something and died last night, so he came to take them to his home for some food. I don't know what to say, my eyes got blurry and I tried to take refuge of the strong wind excuse. He doesn't get to moan either. When all were in blissful ignorance, he was already trying to fight, preparing himself for the hard battle ahead, as if trying to grow up faster than his limbs ready to tackle. He probably knew before anyone that soon he has to fetch his own food. Some animals got sharper instinct than others, the ones who look a little ruffled and indiscreet even to start with. He perhaps sensed the changes in barometric pressure ahead than others, or picked up on some low, distant rumbling of thunders when others were sleeping. Perhaps I did too. Otherwise, who made me say this?
People are not going to be around to help.
No, he couldn't climb his Everest and ultimately gave up. But he is Ashani, the rat, and by looking at him, I know that he knows how to write sonnets to the salt of earth's sweat. Even though we believe all sentient beings have a right to live, they all undergo suffering. During natural calamity, if you are given a choice between saving one human life vis-a-vis saving one animal life, whom will you choose? Now, when it comes to ethics and moral principles, this is a highly gray area. I think most people will go for saving human life, many of them probably even reluctantly, because they do not want to choose. They do not want the animals necessarily to suffer. But when you have to opt for only one, then probably that's where majority will lean on. However, there will be a section who would like to save animal lives. To make this matter more complex, while almost all religious doctrines separates human being from other animals, modern biology classifies humans as animals. So if we call ourselves as animal lover, can we differentiate human from that? If you say that I'm an animal lover, I'm a hardcore animal lover, and that's why I have saved animals. But then why not human? Because human means also an animal. Or you think somewhere subconsciously that human beings are superior animals and that's why they don't need saving. Add another layer of complexity. Given a choice between your own pet and another animal, if you're an animal lover, then there should not be any distinction, right? But I think almost everybody will save their own pets. Even the most sincere animal lover somewhere psychologically distinguishes between their companion animal from an animal on the street, even though they may genuinely feel compassion for the latter. That means familial feelings for human beings supersedes the love for a generic species. Now, will you save an animal over the human being on the other side is not a stranger but your own? Also, as and when you are sitting in your drawing room and given to think about it, the choice you will make may not necessarily match with exactly what you are going to do when you have to make a split second choice. Psychologists say that's what actually defines us as a person, that within the split second, in the real time, what we are going to opt for. And that actually reveals our true nature. No matter how uncomfortable we feel to accept that, we all have our favorites. That's how human beings are made. That's why the only two things that distinguish human from other animals are moral complexity and our cultural evolution. That we can actually get into this kind of abstract thinking. We completely conjecture something that hasn't happened. We create hypotheses around it and we think about a situation that we are not into. An animal cannot afford to do that because they are battling with survival. However, it doesn't mean they do not have complex language or they cannot speak for themselves. It's just that a lot of times we call them voiceless. I don't think that's always true. Many animals, in fact, very vocally make their presence felt. We just don't know how to listen. Or sometimes in a country like ours, we choose not to. Whether human life has more value or has inherently more worth than animal life, this question is multifaceted. It's not straightforward because who is evaluating? When we are evaluating, we may say that, okay, human lives are more important. I think more important thing for us to understand that human safety and animal safety are correlated. Animals got no place in disaster management plan for India, while animal husbandry, rearing, fishing, dairy industry contribute to a stable income, but stray dogs do not contribute to country's GDP. While we are very proud to mention that there has been archaeological evidences that stray dogs live with us since the days of Indus Valley civilization as early as 4,500 years ago. They have been part of our society and culture. But during such disasters, thousands of dogs not only lose their life, but they get displaced from their territory. And so it's almost a fundamental duty for us to try to save others as much as possible, be it human or animals, in the hour of need. There is one hypothesis: millions of millions years later, octopuses will eventually take over the world. If that happens, from their standpoint, we will not be important at all. So right now, the pen is in our hand and we are writing the script. So we can say that, okay, we are superior. But things can change. Glad to be back with Andamania series once again. And no, I have not made it to convey a subtle message against Supreme Court's judgment. I actually have made a separate video on that. And that also further explores the question that who is an animal lover, because apparently even Hitler was. So if you're interested, go and watch this video.